This conference will now be recorded.
In order, would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. First order of business would be to approve our agenda. Is there any changes, Bruce?
Mr. Chairman, there was an amended agenda. You'll know if you have the right one, if you look at 8 o'clock under general business, and there's a part that's underlined relating to the surplus of some equipment, and then the second page also a discussion about the Creek City Road before we stop. No changes other than that.
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Okay, motion by Jennings, seconded by Sleep for approval of the amended agenda. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any conflicts?
Nope.
Okay. We need to approve our regular meeting minutes and the Board of Adjustment minutes from July 22nd. All move approval.
Second.
Motion by Sleep, seconded by Jennings for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Auditors account with the treasurer.
This is as of July 31st, 2025. Total amount of deposits in the banks is $24,727,041.94. Included in that total is the bank balance of $23,630,492.18. Money market, $1,096,549.76. Total amount of actual cash, $1,350. Total amount of checks and drafts in the treasurer's possession not exceeding 3 days is $64,587.90. And cash is $3,428.26. Petty cash, $2,725 for a total of $24,799,133.10.
Move to approve the auditor's account with the treasurer.
Second.
Okay, motion by Sleep, seconded by Jennings for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills, I've had my questions answered.
Thanks, sir.
Move to approve the bills.
Second.
Okay, motion by Jennings, seconded by Flanagan for approval of the bills. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Personnel, Ms. Brenda.
These are all for sheriff's office. Start with this step raise for Olivia Burnett, going to a correction officer 2, grade 3, base pay of $26.61, full-time permanent employee effective 8/10. And the step raise for Hunter Wood, correction officer 2, grade 3, base pay of $26.61, full-time permanent employee, 810. Janelle Erferding, she is the physician's assistant, going to a grade 2, base pay of $77.11. She is a part-time permanent employee, effective on 810. Jennifer Schneider, step raise, dispatch 1, grade 2, base pay of $24.56, full-time permanent employee, effective on 810. Jeremy Peters, classification change, going to a correction officer 2, grade 2, base pay of $26.08, full-time permanent employee, effective 810. Vanessa Adrian, this is a classification change. She is going to be correction officer 2, grade 3, base pay of $26.61, full-time permanent employee. This will be effective on 8/15.
Motion to approve sheriff's request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion.
I have one question there on Janelle's, the 7711 for the middle part, was the first part.
Say again.
7711, yeah, I've written down there, and she's for the second step.
Yep.
What's
Yep.
the first step?
70, you're gonna make me think, 70, here, just a second, I got it right here. 70, 7560, Richard. Yep,
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Right.
yep.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just wanted to highlight the fact that this is the first time in quite a while we've had several corrections department requests, and they're all for step raises or classifications and not new hires. That's very refreshing.
Very much.
All those in favor of the motion before us will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Travel request, Brenda?
I have none.
Resolution 2025-28. A resolution setting the number of on-off sale liquor licenses and fee schedule.
This is just a requirement every August to set the fees for the following year. It is outlined with all of the current licenses that are being held within Lawrence County according to their classification. I just need a motion to authorize you to sign.
Okay, Commissioner Flanagan.
Don't we set this at the beginning of the year? This is different?
Yep.
So we need a motion to approve resolution 2025-28.
Correct.
Correct. So moved.
Second. The motion by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale for approval. Any further discussion?
When was the last time we raised the fees? They've been this way for.
Yeah, they have, and it goes by what the actual classifications of the municipalities charge.
Okay.
So whatever they charge them, that's what we do as well. According to statute. Yep.
For statute. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
No, just
Okay. Authorize the chairman to sign Purdue Sackler Family Opioid Settlement Agreement.
Yep, we have received notice that we have a new settlement for the opioids, and I just need authorization to sign your name on the document.
Be an e-signature, correct?
Correct.
Didn't know we had such a thing.
so moved. Second.
Okay, motion and second for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just for our records.
Yeah, just like.
Alright. Authorization to declare surplus for public sale, destroy or exchange with another political subdivision, 3 dispatch consoles and 1 paper shredder.
I just need a motion to allow for this, the surplus, so that they can either put it on the public auction, or there is maybe a possible entity that would be interested in these dispatch consoles.
Government.
Yep.
I think the values are all stated on the information provided by Richie Walk, and it's all under $500.
No one in any of our departments could use the shredder.
Thing is,
It's big.
it's big and it's old. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
works great then, huh?
it has. I can remember standing over there in the garage shredding, because that was the only shredder we had, and then now we hire a company to come in and shred,
Okay.
but they still use the shredding company now too instead of the shredder, yeah, so we all use the same shredding company, they come once or twice a month and shred all our documents that need to be shredded, so.
Okay, what's your pleasure on?
Move to approve those items surplus.
Second.
Okay, motion by Flanagan, second by Tisdale to approve the items for surplus. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And Bruce says, wait a minute. AG's office to updated presentation on open meeting laws.
This is a bit redundant because we did talk about it since July 1st, I think, the new statute that requires each year annually that county commission, for example, talk about and look at the most recent open meeting presentation by the Attorney General's office. Well, there was a new presentation that came out a week or two ago, and so I've included that in your packets. I don't think it's changed in any regard. But if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Otherwise, we plan to talk about it again in January.
Okay. And if anyone wants to attend the county convention, the deadline's approaching.
Yes, I would like to know by today, please, so that I can submit the registration for approval at your next meeting in order to send it in by the deadline.
Yeah, I see an agenda.
There's a proposed agenda, but it's still subject to change. I have the proposed one here if you want to look at it,
I won't be able to make it.
but it's still subject to change.
The association is registering.
Okay.
And bills in the county is registering.
Okay,
Mine's taken care of.
okay.
I did forget to do something here. I'm gonna take care of it right now. We have a new policy to be read at the beginning of the meetings. This is guidelines for online meeting participants. So, number one, identify yourself whether you plan to speak or not. You should identify yourself in the attendee panel using your real first and last name, not initials. Mute your microphone. You must mute your microphone when not speaking. You must speak only when recognized by the chair. For purposes of taking meeting minutes, all persons addressing the board are required to identify themselves using their first and last name and give their full address each time they speak. Use the raise hand button. It's easier to manage discussion when the participants use the raise hand button. Use the raise hand button when you want to speak and wait for the chairman to recognize you. And he will then at that time ask you to unmute. Turn on your camera. You should use your camera. Cameras are especially important to facilitate visual communication and engagement. And recordings of meetings are allowed under South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-11. But that does require that any person recording a meeting through audio or video technology must make that fact obvious. Do so in a reasonable manner. And do not be disruptive. I apologize if I didn't read that right away. All right,
Commission meeting is on the second.
Sheriff Dean.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The, we had a very successful rally. Folks would be very proud of those corrections officer. I think their high was 104. And they handled all the issues quite fluidly and did extremely well. Court went very smoothly as well. Everybody pitched in and worked through the very small number of issues that came up. It was our inaugural year for the rally, and it seemed to be very positive with everybody. Got the numbers from July. Our revenue from July is $118,738.60. So I'm at this point now, with 5 months remaining in the year, we need to average about 98,000 a month to hit our goal. And when you consider that, again, we didn't even have an honest run at it until March, we're doing exceptionally well, and the facility is performing at a very high level. You had heard me talk a number of times about renegotiating our contract. That is well underway. This week, in fact, we'll have one of our final go through. Jamie is working very hard on the paperwork submission. So we hope to have some positive information for you in the not too distant future. And that's what I have. Unless you have any questions
Okay.
for me.
Any questions for the sheriff? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we can't do yours yet, Brenda.
Did you decide if you wanted to go, or are you gonna think about it?
still thinking.
Okay.
Mr. Day, you can come up. We've got 2 public hearings we'll have to interrupt you with, but we can't do them for another 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Well, let's
So
get through
the
some of
floor is
this.
yours, sir.
I have 5 permits. Once again, Jesse DuPont with Celerity Internet has submitted some more utility permits for the right of ways. This is the same as all of the past. I did include the estimated cost of the cost of installing utility in our right of way, and that is $418,810. If we so wish to include the bond as part of the condition. I did include it as a condition, and we can continue that way or we can remove it. But I'll leave it to you guys. We can also go over these individually, or we can do them all at once if you'd like. It's Ridley Road, the Wiseman Road, Dane Church Road, Anderson Road, and St. Ange Road. I did go out and inspect the work that they've already done on the last group of permits, and they're well on their way to being done with those. So,
Okay.
I think they wanted to get these in because of the way the meetings were going to fall. They were going to run out of work before they got to the next meetings. I'm recommending approval of these 5 permits.
With the bond, you said,
I got the bond included.
just to follow recommendation.
Okay, motion by Flanagan, seconded by Jennings to follow the highway superintendent's recommendation, also to include the bond. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I also have, this is an amendment to agreement that we've had back in June. This is for the resurfacing of the Rough Lock Falls Road. We sent them a bill when we were done to the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks. And our original agreement was for $85,000. We ended up spending $93,472 to surface that road and chloride it. They were gracious enough to offer to pay the full amount, which is going to require an amendment to this agreement. This will just simply change the agreement from the original dollar amount of $85,000 to the agreement now will be not to exceed $95,000. I think we should sign this, accept their offer.
I move to amend the agreement 2025-9-1, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Second.
Okay, motion by Jennings, seconded by Tisdale. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So the next thing I have on my agenda is we have a change order for our crack seal and preservation project. The original estimate called for 16,777 pounds of sealant, and 25,900 pounds were what were required to complete the projects on the 6 roads that we sealed. Rose was in charge of the engineering on that, and they are offering to pay 50% of the change order agreement to the amount of $13,655. The change order is $26,797.
Pretty significant.
It was a significant amount, that's right. So they did step forward and are willing to pay a portion. I mean, we did get the material, they did use it on our roads, but I thought it was pretty decent approach to spend, to reduce their costs. So I do need a signature accepting this change order.
Okay, we have a motion by Flanagan, seconded by Sleep for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next thing I have on the agenda is for our capital assets purchase. I know what we went over on our budget, our initial budget hearing here a few weeks back or a few meetings ago. I am asking for permission to purchase 6 150 all-wheel drive motor graders off of our Sourcewell contract. That is to the tune of $2,530,000, $132. And then I'm also asking to surplus for trade our 6 2019 140 M3 motor graders. That is the trade value of $1,057,000. And I would like to also I would like the approval for me to sign the purchase agreements for $1,473,132. So we need to get these ordered, so they come in time before our warranties run out of our other machines. They're telling me there's a 90 to 120 day lead time on these machines. So
Well, I think we should be able to do this with a caveat that we do approve our provisional budget later on today, if someone wants to make that type of a motion.
The other thing I was just gonna bring up and double check on, I know in years past, if they were able to deliver them and they came staggered, that they would we could still continue to use the ones that we surplus as we get them, right?
correct.
So what's the likelihood of all 6 showing up exactly at the same time?
I don't think they're not gonna all show up at the same time. I think it's set up to where their plan is that we'll get one machine and then we'll do any kind of switching over equipment. We got radios, front harness mounts, things like that. And then we'll take that machine back as they take another one.
I know years past, it seemed like that worked out rather well.
I will
Seemed to be fairly well on.
Yeah, and I will make the note on, I think it was the auditor looked it up, we had to purchase additional warranty on that last group of machines because we didn't get them in time. So I think that was 15,000 some odd dollars that we had for extended warranty purchase. So I think, by doing this, pending your final approval of the budget, and as soon as you get that information, if you can get it to me, that'd be great. I'm just asking for your consideration in this, and then of course if you could authorize me to sign it, that would just speed things up as well. So
Okay.
we can leave that until your later meeting.
He's leaving after we approve.
Yeah, I know, I was trying to decide if it might be easier. I see what you're doing. We just need to remember to do it.
I know, and I don't want to forget. So, I certainly think we can go ahead and do a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to approve the purchase and allow the highway superintendent to sign.
Subject to.
What's that?
Subject to
Yes, subject to our approval of the,
provisional budget.
yes,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, may I also interject?
and declare the other one surplus.
okay,
I'll second.
okay, we've got a motion, second, further discussion, Bruce?
And so you also will have a public hearing set for your budget on September 2nd. And so it would be probably subject to that as well, if that makes sense. So John, if you're allowed to go forward today, if there's an opportunity, if you needed to by September 2nd to alter this, would that be okay?
I don't know how we could alter it once the purchase agreements are signed.
I throw that out there because again, there is a public hearing that's required as well, above and beyond provisional budget. So in other words, I think the question, if I may, Mr. Chairman, if you were to delay until September 2nd, is there any prejudice that would be involved in there? It'd be less than a month, a couple weeks.
Well, I just don't know about the delivery date. That's my only worry there.
And also you won't approve the budget until the 22nd.
That's right, but you'd have the public hearing though, at least on the 2nd, right? Yeah.
Do you have any problem?
I don't.
I'll move that we, wait till-
Well, we've got a motion on
There's
the
already
floor.
been one, Richard, thank you. Yep.
The warranty runs out in March, is that correct?
Our warranties start running out in March and then April, that's right. And the problem being that the 90 to 120 days, that's subject to change. The longer we wait, it's just kind of a waiting in line.
Right.
If we get out of line for the order of these machines, there's no guarantee of when we'll be in line for the next. It might change from a 90-day lead time to a 6-month or beyond. We don't know.
Mhm.
It all comes down to, their production dates or production runs and who's ordered.
Okay, further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
1 minute.
Okay, John, we're gonna beg of you to go at ease for, we take care of these 2 hearings real quick.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Chairman, I might leave the discussion then.
All right. The first one will be for resolution 2025-26. It's a resolution vacating a portion of right-of-way. Bruce, you can get us started on this.
So, Mr. Chairman, although these both require separate action and separate public hearings, they both relate to the same described area on the exhibit. The first resolution, 26, would deal with the publicly dedicated right-of-way and would vacate that, noting that the standard as stated on the agenda is different than that which is required on the petition for number 27, which would then take care of the easement underlaying the road. So it's kind of a belt and suspenders approach to take care of both of these sort of separately, sort of the top and the bottom, if that makes sense. John Frederickson has been involved in this. He can't be here today, but if you have any questions for him, he could come at a later date. It seems like it's rather straightforward. We've done the same procedure before. And I see that Mr. Kandirsky is here as well to answer your questions. I think the intent behind this is to facilitate the construction of a building and to accommodate setbacks.
The building's already there.
As shown on the exhibit, right?
Yeah, as shown on the exhibit. So what needs to happen is the road needs to be moved over so that we meet the county's right-of-way easement requirements.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, and so the intent would be then to come back later on and to reestablish a publicly dedicated road to service the areas beyond that, but that plat has not yet been submitted. Is that fair?
The intent is to have a 50-foot private easement take place of the 66-foot wide public easement. And that plat has already been taken care of.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the body of the room or online that would like to speak to this for or against at this time, we would ask that you would state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak to this? Is there anyone online that would like to? Okay, one more time, anyone in the room? Okay, we'll close the public hearing on this first one. And leave it up to the board. Commissioner Flanagan.
Do we have a document that shows that new private easement anywhere? Do you have a copy of it with you?
I've got 8 of them, so I can hand them out if you guys.
I don't know how we can vacate an easement to a property without there already being other access. That's my concern.
Mr. Chairman, is there one landowner there right now, a lady, is that right? That's above and beyond that easement would serve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she on the petition?
She wouldn't sign it.
Okay. That speaks volumes.
May I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm Mike Kanzerski, 20829 Matson Lane. Sturgis is our address. If you look at does everyone have a copy of the map? If you look at this map, all we're doing, the hatched mark was a 66-foot wide public easement. And what we're doing is replacing that with a 50-foot wide private easement. the lady, if you look at the bottom of the page, you can see the yellow 40-foot wide private easement. All she had was a 40-foot wide private easement that led to the 66-foot wide public easement. And so what we're doing is replacing her 40-foot wide with a 50-foot wide. So we're upgrading. I guess you can call it upgrading, but in reality, there's no road there now. It's a pasture. And what we're doing is subdividing the 30 acres that the road is, we're building a road in there so that we can access the 30-acre subdivision we're putting in. She'll have access to that road now, whereas she didn't have a road before. If you flip to the next page, I think, to the back page, here's the easement. The easement that she has is attached. Back one page right there. That's the easement that she has. And it says specifically in there, it's a secondary access easement. So a secondary to us meant that maybe that was an emergency access easement. She has a primary, she has another one that's labeled a primary access easement that's on the east side of her property. And right now that's what she uses. So that's how she accesses her property now, is on the east side. When we put this road in here, she'll have access on both sides. So basically, in my opinion, we're upgrading her situation. She still, if you flip back to the front, she'll still have that small portion of 40-foot wide easement. And she'll have to build that piece because you can see what we're building, and it's in the green. And so she'll have to build that short piece, 50 feet of road, so that she can access our road. But then at that point, she'll have a road all the way down Matson Lane and out to the highway. Right now, she has nothing. It's a pasture.
Mr. Chairman, I would note that we haven't received, as far as I know, any communication from her in opposition to this or any sort of discussion whatsoever.
So a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. So is this 40 or new 50-foot easement, is that recorded?
Yes,
That's the document.
It's on this plat.
Is the recorded document, okay.
Yeah, it's on this plat. Go to the next page and you should have a plat there that's on.
Okay. And then the other question, you said that the property owner to the south had an easement from the east. It's not listed on this map.
That's not on my property. It's through Lick.
Right, it's through that lot 9.
Michael Lick. Yep. That's not on my property.
But it should be,
It's recorded though.
it should be on this map, shouldn't it? Is that how that works?
No, because that map just shows my subdivision roads. It doesn't show,
Okay.
it is recorded.
When was this plat approved?
You guys approved that a month or two ago.
Hasn't been very long.
Hasn't been very long.
Yeah.
Okay, further discussion, questions? Commissioner State.
It looks to me like you could keep going on this road down here, you do the same thing as going across, or cut the distance or increase the distance.
So this road that goes south, it parallels her property. Her easement though was right here. That's where it's platted. That's where her easement is platted. It's always where it's been platted.
Okay, further discussion or action?
Mr. Chairman, again, the standard for this one would be that the public interest will be better served by the vacation. Statutory.
Some brave soul make a decision one way or the other. I can't make a motion to it. Okay,
I'll second.
okay, a motion by Tisdale, seconded by Jennings for approval. Is there any further discussion?
It just, something feels off. Can't quite,
All right.
can't.
Seeing none, Brenda, it looks like maybe we better do a roll call, so all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Jennings,
Aye.
Tisdale,
Aye.
Sleep,
Aye.
Flanagan,
Hey,
Ewing,
Aye. Okay. 4
4-1.
approved. That's. Brenda's on both of them. Up here, never mind.
Thank you.
Okay,
We've still got the
the
other.
next one,
Public hearing.
resolution 2025-27. Resolution vacating a portion of the plat. Bruce, you wanna?
Similar discussion to incorporate from the first one, Mr. Chairman. In this case, it's not dealing with the right of way, it's dealing with the underlying 66-foot publicly located utility easement. And it's kind of a belt and suspenders approach. One might have gone away with the other, but just to make sure that they're both gone is the reason behind this two separate petitions. And I remind you that the standard for this one is that the vacation may not abridge or destroy any of the rights and privileges of other proprietors in such plat. It is before you to vacate that part of the previously approved.
Okay, here we are again with a public hearing. We'll open it up to the public here. If you choose to speak for or against this, please stand, state your name and address for the record, as well as those online. Is there anyone in the body of the room that would like to speak for or against this? How about online? One more time in the room, anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Flanagan, you had a question?
this is probably the problem that I'm having. Online, this has a bunch of other stuff that is not, that doesn't deal with the same easement, and I don't know what it is. That's where I'm getting confused, because this exhibit is not the easement we're dealing with, and this is highlighting properties that are not included. So I've got some documents here that don't appear to follow with what we're doing on this page.
I think the intent of those is to show the vicinity is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I think there's, well, like I say, this exhibit doesn't go with what we're doing at all. So I'm, like I said, I think that's part of my confusion in this, is I've got a bunch of pages in here. I've got a couple of different things that show a different exhibit
I didn't see
in a
it.
similar area. So I'm very
Okay, look at it.
confused in how it is. I don't know if that's, and if that is included on accident or what's going on there, but.
That's
And then when you go down here, there's some other highlighted property. They're highlighting that. And interior, where is it? This one here.
Yeah, I don't.
That easement.
That has nothing to do with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was very confused.
Yeah,
I
I see
there's
why
some
you're
other
confused.
documents on this that I have that aren't what we're dealing with here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can explain that first drawing that you showed me though.
Oh, this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, this is, we gave, Troy Schulze, who owns this property here, we gave him this easement so that he can access his property. And then we gave him a secondary access easement so that he could use our, what we consider our emergency exit, so he can use it with his, for his people. Yeah, that was, yeah.
It's
So-
just, it's
So
included
that's
with.
what that's for?
Thank you. That's, I say, when I'm looking at this, something looked really off. That clarifies a lot of it, so thank you.
Okay, we have a motion by Tisdale, seconded by Jennings for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm an aye. Sorry.
you're.
Now that I understand better, yes, I'll do aye on this one.
Kind of figured you were gonna go that way. Okay, Mr. Bay, sir, we're back to you. Thank you for allowing us to take care of that.
No problem.
Okay, so next on my list is we have our U.S. Forest Service Cooperative Road Agreement. This was presented to us on July 17th, I believe. I think Bruce forwarded out to all of you guys, so you could look at it. I do think we have some people here. Valerie's here from the Forest Service. If you had any questions about the road agreement, you've had a chance to review it. I guess now would be the time to ask any questions.
Bruce?
John, is it fair, and I'll defer to Valerie too, that the underpinnings for this is that it started back when Steve was the district ranger. And we had agreements like this in the past, but it's been several years, maybe since like 2007, 2008, since the last one. And so I think what this agreement does, and again, someone correct me if I'm wrong, is that there are roads that the county considers to be county roads, and roads that the Forest Service considers to be Forest Service roads. Presently, there's no agreement to allow the county to do its activities on those roads. This agreement would then give permission for the county, for example, to go on the Maitland Road, and to the extent there's overlapping jurisdiction to conduct our maintenance activities. Is that a fair statement of this?
Yes, correct.
That's correct.
And I think, and Bruce also reached out to the Forest Service and had some third-party language added to this agreement, which they did do.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Valerie, is this considered to be Schedule A? Is that what this is, or is it Schedule B?
Schedule A.
Because there's no Schedule B attached, right? So there are no non-county roads in this. In the past, we used to have Schedule A and Schedule B. So does that make sense to everybody? So there were other roads that were not these joint roads, but there are roads that the Forest Service wanted the county to do maintenance on. Forest Service doesn't have its own maintenance equipment. So we would enter into another agreement, another schedule that would show what kind of maintenance and how often that maintenance would occur. But that is not a part of this. I think this is what we would call just a Schedule A, I think. Okay? Because you may have heard about these things in the past.
I would like to introduce Patrick Champa. He is our acting district ranger at this
Oh.
moment.
Welcome.
Thank you. Normally the Bear Lodge District Ranger in Sundance, just covering both districts for a minute.
Just for a minute, huh?
Until we have another body.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, sir, can I just spell your name for the record, please?
CHAMPA.
Thank you. And so because this does not include the Schedule B, it probably alleviates some of the concerns that we've had with these kinds of things in the past where they've been used in court against us, because again, this is just, I think, related to the Schedule A.
Okay, do we need any action on this?
We need a motion to authorize the chairman to sign it.
Couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair. So, one, does this agreement include the Tinton Road regraveling?
It does include the section of the Tinton Road.
It does or doesn't?
It does include the section of the Tinton Road that would be, if we ever get the grant provided to us, then that would include that section, yes.
From the cattle guard to Aspen Hill.
That's right, 3.9 miles.
Separate question, this would allow us to then have that as part of our system to do the work, but this does not make that work happen at this point. Is that fair? I mean, right, that's a separate step yet.
Yes.
Just so everybody's clear on that.
It's just the maintenance agreement.
And are
It
you
just allows us to
signing
do
that next
maintenance. It doesn't say we're going
What's
to
that?
maintenance.
And are you signing that next step or?
I'm not signing, but we're prepared for that next step.
So there would still be another agreement to be in place.
A supplemental project agreement.
Okay, thank you.
And that's
Has
where the
it
transfer of
Come
funds
to
come.
fruition yet? I mean, on your end, or is it
Yeah,
still
we
kind
have
of
all
a
that loaded in the queue. We've got certain processes with Doge approvals. Now, that's been submitted to Doge. We're awaiting approval back probably this week or next. I think there is still some language in that supplemental project agreement we're working through between our engineer and the county, but it's for all intents and purposes mostly ready.
Great news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And John, you can't get to that till next year, so.
No.
Absolutely not. I mean, we're not doing
It's not a
anything.
graveling project, is it? We're only on a 5-year at this point.
Well, it is not. Our 5-year just lists 20 miles of gravel. We don't list actual what roads. We do that on a case-by-case annual basis in the spring when we make an assessment of our roads and see which roads need more attention than others. But as far as on our rotation, this would not be on our rotation because we've never gravelled this section.
One of the
Commissioner
questions,
Jennings, no.
Dalton Lake Road was a public use, listed as public use for 0.58 miles, but there's no responsibilities checked. I didn't understand
We do snow removal only on that section of road.
But it wasn't checked on the sheet. Nobody checked the box to take responsibility.
Flat Lake Road has been one of those roads that's,
It's 224 is the road.
been questioned.
This segment of road is dedicated public use. Yeah, I mean, it's not our road. We don't, alls we do is we do snow removal on it. And it's not checked. Good catch. I never noticed that. That would be for snow removal only. I blame you.
No!
Come up and check the box, Valerie.
So this would be a road, I think, that would probably have to be a Schedule B road, would it not? Because the county does not assert any kind of jurisdiction over this. This is the road that the folks live out there. I can't think of their name just now.
Schmitz.
Kathleen.
Wolfgang and Kathleen Schmidt. It's a road that leads to the campground out there. In the past, they complained about dust.
Yes. And that was it was platted as public right of way through there. But there was no jurisdiction.
Bruce, does this include areas on private driveways where there's a little bit of Forest Service land in the private land?
Yes, Juso Road is on there. There's a handful of them that are in there that are not. I know, I did look that up.
Some of these we moved to minimum maintenance, didn't we?
That's correct.
Some of these.
A large quantity are on our minimum maintenance program.
If you flip to the next page for 224, all the boxes are checked for Dalton.
It was a different length, so I assume that was a different section.
I just happened to see
I
that.
think that's because they are separating out the portion that is public access or dedicated public use. They have different mileages.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see them. Thank you.
Okay, what's your pleasure on it? What do we need to do about checking the box? Can we just approve this with the amendment to check the box for Dalton Lake Road? Is that satisfactory to everybody, or do we need to start over?
Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge of the 0.58 miles of road to really speak to that.
Bruce.
I guess I think it warrants more review, so I'm concerned that these other roads are roads that, again, we have on our system, we consider to be county roads. This is the one exception on there, right? And so I would hate to have you sign it, and then the implication being that somehow you're accepting jurisdiction over the road. It seems to me, without giving it more thought, that this road probably should be what we call, I think, a Schedule B road, a road that's Forest Service only. I guess, however, not county, and I don't know if the Forest Service wants to take any ownership over it either, quite honestly. So we might, is that, I think that might be the case, where we have one of these roads that sort of nobody publicly dedicated, that nobody wants to put their finger on, if that makes sense. And so I don't know if the Forest Service is willing to do that, to come back with Schedule B that relates specifically to this road. Again, I'm not trying to speak for anybody. I think that's probably a fair assessment here. And but I don't know that I could encourage you to sign that agreement with that road included in that, I'd say.
Would you have more information next meeting?
I don't think I need any more. I mean, I'm always open to more, but I think I'm looking at Valerie and she's nodding, so I think I'm restating everything and John's familiar with it. So I think my rendition of things is accurate. So if I may, I think this is the case where there's a legal description out there that references the wrong township maybe. And so, but there's no easement or any document that suggests that this is actually the county road. There is that interpretation that some might say it is, but it has the incorrect legal description. If I'm saying that correctly, but the county has never accepted this onto its system and has been very careful not to do that. And I think likewise for the Florida.
So you wanna wait till we get more clarification?
So do we want a motion to sign it without the Dalton Lake Road part addressed at all?
That would be
Take it off?
that's my thoughts.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to sign the document without Dalton Lake Road on it.
Okay, motion by Flanagan, who's seconded
I did.
it? Commissioner Slate. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Is it both Dalton Road ones or just that one?
Just the public use
Just the
section,
public use, okay, just that 1.58.
0.58.
Perfect, thank you.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Valerie, would you prepare a new document or do we just take that page out? Any thoughts on that that I can present to the chairman for signature?
Yeah, I think we can just omit it and I think it can go for signature.
I can just remove that page right now, or you want to submit a new set?
I'll submit a new set,
Okay.
only because it addresses the other 3.0.
Okay. Then I'll have the chairman sign it. We'll review it.
It's not a numbered page, so I don't think it'll be an issue, even if they sign.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John, yeah. Anything further, sir?
Quickly, before we get to the stop sign issue, we do have an executive order was signed by the state transportation secretary. And that is the transfer of those roads in the Spearfish area that we Hill Street, section of Hillsview, and then the two gravel roads over, 27th and Industrial Drive. So no action needs to be taken on this, but we do have the signed document from the Transportation Commission. And we need to set a date for our 5-year, for the public hearing, or 5-year highway bridge improvement plan. And I think we're planning on doing that September 2nd at 9 a.m. here at the commission room. If anybody has any problems or needs to change that date, I guess now would be the time to bring that up. We just have to have it submitted by October 15th to the state.
Okay, what's your pleasure on that? Set the hearing for the 2nd of September, Bruce?
I have it on the agenda, Mr. Chairman. It's a public meeting, I think is how it's
Correct.
correct.
It is not a hearing, it is a meeting.
So absent any objection, I would proceed accordingly.
Don't need any formal.
I think
All
so.
right, go ahead, John.
Commissioner Tisdale brought to my attention that he had a complaint or a recommendation of this four-way stop. We addressed this back in May. I believe it was May 13th. I did reach out to the state, South Dakota LTAP people for some recommendations. We did install some stop signs. Got some pictures if you guys want to. This is what I took. This is what I propose we could possibly do. You can see from these pictures that it's not an ideal, as it lays, it's really not an ideal intersection just to make a four-way stop without truly redesigning this into an intersection, a T intersection, or a cross intersection.
And May John, just so everybody's aware of where we're at. So this is that part of the section line of the county allowed to be improved kind of by the hours driveway there.
This
off of
is,
City
this
Road.
is the section lines of Crook City and Our Road, that is correct. It's all section line road. It is all been developed. I have gone out and looked at the site since I spoke with Commissioner Tisdale. The improvements that were done to the section line going east onto the Three Peaks Lane, they did a really nice job kind of moving that into our section of road. I think for a trial, we could just go out and put these signs that I have in this picture. I think we could do that. And put fair warning that it is now a T or a cross intersection and a four-way stop. I think we could go forward with that. Kind of the way it sits right now is at least as a trial to see and, make sure it works well and everybody's good with it, before we go to the expense of redesigning and rebuilding this whole area.
I was just out there last week, rode on that, and with the new asphalt, it's slightly confusing because it still looks like you curve right, but all the asphalt makes it look like a big intersection. So I could really see somebody blowing that.
And there's been several
That's where the
several
problem
complaints.
lies.
That's right.
People coming from the west, shooting straight up the new subdivision.
Yeah, that's why I say the way it looks, especially with the new asphalt, it's really, you could see people going through it. On this, it doesn't maybe look quite so much that way because you feel it's still gravel or something, but with it all blacktop, something needs to change. That's probably the easiest way to start.
Well, this would be the easiest way to start. It would be somewhat inexpensive. And it is the recommendation from the South Dakota LTAP. They ultimately advise that we change this to a four-way stop intersection.
So we need to make a motion to direct you to proceed that direction.
I would like it reflected in the minutes at least.
I'll make that motion and I'll just add the caveat, at least for evaluation for safety on that corner.
Yeah, let's see, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, opposed? All right, pass.
That's it. Just a couple updates. We got the concrete poured for that new building at the Public Safety Center. They did a nice job. So moving forward with that. Vanessa, that we hired for our secretary position, decided she was better suited at the jail, so she's going back there. So we're currently advertising for a secretary. So if you know anybody, send them my way.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break here to get ready for the rest of our agenda.
I'm gonna meet the meeting for just a little bit here, folks. I'll restart.
and then we'll go to the public hearing for. All right, we'll start out with the preliminary plat, the final plat, McKee and Richard McKee and Jody McKee.
Just real quick before, because I told Dave I don't know if he's not here, is he Dave? He did provide you guys a lead report, but he wasn't going to be here anyway, so. It's in there. So Richard and Jody McKee, they are trying to split one of the lots that's left out there. They're basically just splitting it for family. They have different family members, and before they're gone, basically that's what was said, before they're gone, they don't want their kids to have to deal with it, so they're splitting the land. That was, I think, about the exact words as last time.
You guys know something we don't?
Yeah, I don't know.
Getting older.
So that's what they're doing. They did do a fire plan on it. This property really had nothing, much to do on it. There's a private access easement in there. They did provide the Forest Service documents. They're very well aware of what kind of access, they do have. And those were provided in here. Forest Service did provide those. And we have them in the record, just in case there's any questions. They're pretty thick. They're all right here.
A lot of documentation for a short distance of space.
Yep. So
Building there.
that is it. We had, when we did this staff report, we had the condition on there, but they provided everything. So we got it after the fact. So we're good on that condition that was on there. And then we added the wording. We've been trying to do this. This is the recommends approval with the condition, and that's the acknowledgement road. That's kind of the same wording you've used in the past when it comes to these kind of plats. So we're trying to be consistent and pull it across.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
Is this the one where the fire plan is needed, or am I wrong?
No, this one, they submitted the fire plan, and there was no work to be done really.
It's mostly floodplain.
Yep, mostly floodplain.
I'll move
There's
to,
no structures or anything out there.
move to approve the preliminary plat
With the conditions or what?
with the conditions listed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion by Jenny, seconded by Tisdale for approval of the preliminary. With the conditions. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Final.
Move to approve the final
Second.
with the conditions listed.
Okay, motion by Jenny, seconded by Tisdale to approve the final with conditions. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
The next one is a preliminary final plat for Christy Benson and S3 Land Company. This is tract 37 revised. The owner of tract 1 is giving 1 acre to tract 37. There's no infrastructure improvements under the tracts. Properties have access off of 85 onto North Parmley Road, and then they use the Forest Service 268.2 Union County Road 268. Fire plan is exempt for lot revision, so we're putting the same recommendation in there. Request approval to authorize Bruce to sign as a highway authority, because it's one of those situations that, it's a Forest Service / road.
Mr. Chairman. Is this one of those, Amber, that's kind of located on the middle of nowhere? Is that the recollection? And I think there was a previous plat in 2000, 2007, 2008, that we signed it NA back then. I don't remember doing it that long ago. But I think that's the recommendation here. It's so far attenuated from any county or Forest Service road, but yet they need to have a signature in order to record it.
Does this need to be exempt?
Yes.
I'll move to make it exempt.
Second.
Okay, motion by Jenny, seconded by Tisdale to make it exempt. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Move to approve the, what are we doing?
Preliminary and
Preliminary.
final.
With the conditions from the staff recommendations about the road.
Both are just preliminary.
Yeah, we do it both at the same time. Yep. Preliminary and final.
Okay, we have a motion by Jenny, seconded by Tisdale to approve the preliminary and the final plat. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's named after Bruce Willis.
Watching for it.
This
Yeah,
one,
Bruce.
you might wanna see this one, I think.
Hot Rod Realty.
Let's see, Bruce, I'm trying not to.
That's the one I've been bothered. That's what I was having trouble with.
Yeah.
I said, no,
They can't tension pile throws you out, just.
This one,
Yeah.
there's another one.
it's just a layout plan, we're not doing anything anyway. August, June colors. Don't put on. There it is.
A lot of items.
I hadn't been in the agenda too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so this one, there's a layout plan in here. They put a whole proposal together so you can kind of go through all of it. I didn't plan on reading it to you. You guys have had it in your packet, but development is 30.44 acres. This was one of those that Deer Mountain Village originally had a plan, and then they just kind of let it go and decided we're not going to do it. We'll go ahead and sell it. So they sold it. These guys are coming in. This is using the same road that was there before Birch Drive. They have to have an agreement with, that road district, because that road district is a separate one. They're working on that. They're in the processes of dealing with that. Basically, it meets all the requirements of that zoning district. The SJL tract was originally in the Mystic Minor subdivision way back before Deer Mountain took it over. So it is one of those existing tracts. It was one of the first lots that was sold for collateral for that old developer is what it was. And it was created as long as they had access and they would meet all of the, subdivision requirements. Well, they have the access is there. And then now the subdivision is where they're at. 12 lots-ish is what they're looking at, 14 maybe. It meets the requirements. Now the next step would be they'll have to go through, full planning process. So that's kind of where they're at. I don't know, you guys have anything else to add to it, or is that a quick synopsis?
Happy to update a little bit. We did meet with the road district, kind of back and forth on whether we want a private road or a public road through there. There will be a gate that allows access from Birch up to Deer Mountain, but that'll be for emergency vehicles only in case of an emergency. So that's kind of part of this plan. And then, anything else, Jason? We did have a fire mitigation letter that we submitted, but we found it.
Afterwards.
Submitted it too late, but that's about the.
Commissioner Flanagan.
I would, before I'd go for this, I'd want to see, because we went back and forth on how the egress and ingress on this. I think we were approved 2 or 3 different ways, made them change it at least one of those times, or my suggestion was to change it anyway. And obviously it's just a layout plan, but you're not going to dead end that like that. There'll be a hammerhead or something, and then one with the gate to egress out to one side. But it's, I remember this plat because we looked at it several times because the access was just screwy. Because they didn't want to do a loop, and then they didn't want to connect it, and then they wanted, because otherwise you got a big cul-de-sac.
Right.
But that's with the egress, that was one thing. I need to see more. I think in general it's fine, but without seeing the detailing, I guess.
Before we get to that emergency gate, we'd like to see it.
It's something needs to be there. You can't just dead end the street. I mean, you can, but it's not finished. I guess is what I would say.
Have some geometry to turn around.
Yeah, the way that looks is it looks like you're gonna continue north. But again, I realize it's a layout. If that's what that
Birch
is, that
Drive.
runs through there, I don't see a label.
Yeah,
on this,
Birch
but I'm
Drive
gonna say
comes
yes.
through here, Brandon. So this is Birch Drive.
Yep.
This is the Deer
Yep.
Mountain. It comes up. They have a cul-de-sac right here.
Yep.
and then the loop goes all the way around, and then on this end going up the hill, that's where that emergency access will be and it's
Sure.
needed.
But on there, it doesn't show that it goes through. It shows that it goes to part of a cul-de-sac and then nothing, and then all of a sudden the road stops, just, it dead ends.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
So you want
And
basically
normally on
an
a plat, you
extension.
see that, they're gonna continue it on through to the north, and on another plat. You don't just end it with
That's
a dead end street. You need to have a hammerhead or a cul-de-sac or something to get emergency vehicles
We'll
through.
figure something out.
Or connect those through, so it's a big loop.
Any further questions or?
In light of that discussion, so, this probably will not have to go back through planning and zoning again. Planning and zoning, I think, approved it.
Nope, it's just a layout plan,
So
so.
just come here again.
Yeah.
So just, the next meeting's the 26th.
They'd have to do a preliminary and final plat.
Appreciate
so
your
it's
help.
fine.
We don't have to take any action on
Yeah.
this.
We'll get some.
You would take action, you would either say you're okay with it as a
Oh,
layout
okay.
plan or not, one or the other, but they still have to.
Yeah.
That's why they come here, is to get your ideas if there's something that you don't like, so they know what to work on.
All right,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
if I remember correctly, part of the road exceeded the steepness limits or criteria for the county. Am I remembering that correctly?
No, they all,
Not on this one.
They were all,
I
okay.
think you're
So,
thinking of the one that we have a little later.
Okay.
I mean, we're still in the preliminary, feasibility, but as of right now, we're meeting all the criteria.
They're all gonna hit, okay. So this is, only other one was then to clean up the setback
Yeah,
parts.
and doing 25 feet all the way around is not an issue.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I thought maybe you were gonna make a motion.
I don't think we either motion for layout.
Usually
Yeah,
make motion for layout, yep.
Could do that. I'll move to approve the layout plan.
Second.
Okay, motion by Jennings, seconded by Tisdale to approve the layout plan. Any further discussion?
Just say, take into account the comments that were made. Road profiles and an ending on the,
Okay.
on the road.
All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Well, Amber, we're really close to our, we probably should go ahead and get ready for Mr. Thompson.
Collins here.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
one, okay. Go to that one real quick.
We'll kind of get started here by the time we get all of our oohs and ahs done here. We'll be at 9:15. But this is the time and place for a public hearing. Colin Thompson's the applicant. Close enough. Amber, you can go ahead and present it.
This one, we've actually kind of seen and heard of this one before, but there was a little bit of changes, so I think originally, Colin, what we did approval when you were, did you still own the towing company? I think is kind of what it was. We said it was okay and,
Several years ago,
yeah,
we initially started this process and it was all good. But Commissioner Johnson at that time had requested that we hold off doing any fencing or anything because of the access the county wanted to the property during the bridge construction. And with the grant process, that took several years. So we just kind of let it set and it passed my mind. And anybody that's tried to get a title from the state in the last year and a half knows what a struggle that is. The new owners of Sunshine are struggling with room for storing wrecked vehicles or abandoned vehicles from all over the county. I started letting him park some there while he's waiting for those titles to go to the crusher. I didn't think anything of it. Apparently we needed to continue on and finish the development plan for being able to do that. I've kept trailers and stuff of my own stuff there for several years, but with the storage of an actual vehicle, I guess we need to address that.
yep. So that's kind of where it was left. And we did, we had received a complaint and the complaint was actually about crap or glass. And so I called Colin. He actually went out and we determined it was a mere that probably fell off somebody's truck or something going by, but he cleaned it all up, got it off the roadway. Well, at that time, there was some wrecked vehicles there. So everybody assumed that the glass was off those vehicles pulling in and out and whatever. So we, Colin cleaned it up, got it back up, and I said, hey, we should probably just finish this process. So he submitted it right away, sent everything in. The trailers have been out there for probably 5 years, I'm guessing. I couldn't even tell you when I haven't seen the trailer sitting there. They're parked nice and neat. He keeps it mowed and cleaned up. We took pictures of the trailers.
Colin, give your name and your address so
Oh, sorry.
Brenda can get it in the record, please.
Colin Thompson, 20229 Whitewood Valley Road.
Thank you.
Yep. And then you can see there's vehicles there every once in a while. And then the fencing of it was the concern that I had, because normally when we've allowed impound, we've had him put a fence up. He's been trying to do that, but I think we just wanted to make sure, as all part of this, we knew exactly what was intended, because there was a fence there before. Then county came in, had to do all the bridge removal, and the fence just never got put back up. So I think that's what Colin's concern was, is well, where, how, what's gonna happen with it, that sort of thing.
And I haven't addressed it with Mr. Bay at all. They took the gates, they removed everything for the construction, and once this kind of surfaced, I thought, we'll just leave it alone to see what the commission would like to do or expect out of it.
Okay.
My intention on the fencing would be to just put in a state commercial barbed wire fence. And perhaps even the same gates that are sitting there. There's issues with people damaging the fence. It's on the curve right there. And more often than not, somebody goes off there, goes through the fence, and of course, nobody reports it or hears about it. So just kind of let it lay there. I would improve the surfacing there. But regarding the fence also, if you look at the one attachment we have showing the property lines adjacent to the Whitewood Service Road, the property makes a small jag there. As long as they agree, I'd like to run more of a straight line, make maintain a little bit easier.
All right, this is public hearing, so we'll allow it to the public in the room or online. Speak for or against it. You would state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone in the body of the room that would like to speak to this? How about online? Is there anyone online that would like to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, one more chance in the room? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and offer to the board. Mr. Sleep.
I thought we'd already okayed this, the park stuff in there when we first started building the bridge and that. Come in there's a natural driveway and the entrance in there and the Wedgedale, I thought it was all cleared up.
No, it was just
You just
different
never-
circumstances.
Yeah, you just never finalized it, because then you started construction and it just kind of got forgotten about.
I think he was
So we
very
just need to
lenient with
finish it.
us to get the bridge done and.
Yeah.
So.
That's like Commissioner Sleep, I thought it was a done deal.
Yeah.
So, what do we need to do?
I think you just need to approve the development plan if you're okay with him doing what he wants to do for the bridge. That's really it. I mean, all you're doing is allowing him to park stuff there. Now, we did have in here, so everybody's aware of it. This does have the arsenic level on it, so he can't build, quite a bit anyways, because it's arsenic. There's also floodplain on there. We've been in discussion about that. He knows kind of where he's at there. I'm gonna have him do a floodplain development permit just to bring it into compliance for parking, but it shows that he's just not doing anything, basically. That it's just a
There
compliance
can't be any
thing.
structures, but he can put.
Can't be structures, but he can have the fence up. And then I think his question was just, I think what I heard out of it is just, does he work with John to do that based on what was there and then putting it back? And was there gonna be anything that the county was going to help him with?
Was this conditional use?
Nope, just a development plan.
Is this commercial right there?
Yeah, it's
We
zoned
rezoned it
industrial.
years ago.
Yep, it's
I
zoned
just got-
industrial. I think that might be because it got rezoned industrial. He told you kind of what he was gonna do, but we just never did this process. So zoning wise, it's just an approved use. You just need to, it's fine to do it like this, and I'm fine with
Yeah,
that. I didn't have any concerns.
In my opinion, he should have a discussion with Mr. Bay. If the county removed that fence for that construction, we probably should be putting it back. Much like the folks that disturbed the fence by one of the commissioner's properties and didn't get it put back timely, we probably should get our responsibility to take care of as well. And just, I would say approve the development plan and direct Highway Supervisor Bay to work with the property owner to return the fence to a similar condition that it was before we messed with it.
Honestly, we had removed some of the fence, and then as we were doing this process several years ago, and then when Commissioner Johnson had mentioned about the bridge project, we just kind of left everything lay. What we had taken out, we just stopped there to see what they were gonna do.
Okay, that was.
So there wasn't a lot the county removed, the gates and the H-rings that held them and some fencing.
I would approve the development plan and have him work with Mr. Bay on fence placement.
Second.
Who's the second?
Okay, Richard, we have a motion by Flanagan, seconded by Sleep to, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Colin.
Thank
Thank you, gentlemen. And ladies.
you. Thanks, Colin.
All right, we'll go back to where we left off. What are we on? Citizen responsibility? 25,
You are on 25 to 49, yes.
Go ahead.
There we go. I just went through the same gyrations and figured it out. So.
Where to go?
2 minute class, 49, 49. There it is.
I have this copy too. Hidden Pines.
I don't know. Okay. This one is for Cape Deer Mountain Development. This is basically, they are going in and redoing some of this plat. Look at it, we'll see if I can zoom in on it, so you can see it a little better. This one, they're just combining, so if you look at them, all of them are getting, so 55, 56 is combining to 55R, 34, 35 is 34R, they're combining lots.
No structures.
No structures on any of them, no.
Motion approved.
Sorry.
Okay. Motion by Flanagan, second by Tisdale for approval of the final plat. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 2550.
This is Spearfish Mountain Ranch subdivision. Again, just owners are doing the lot line revisions, making lot acreages a little bit larger, but no change to the overall subdivision acres, no changes to the overall number of lots. They're just literally moving lot lines around all throughout. It's the same layout that was already there.
Motion to approve.
Hold on.
Second. Okay, we got a motion and a second for approval. Further discussion? Commissioner Flanagan.
Where's the rest of lot 37R on that plat?
I think it's a 2-page plat.
I see it's on another page, but is that acceptable?
I need to look at it.
She filed the plat cut up like that.
She didn't say that it couldn't be done that way, and I guess Randy's not here, so I don't,
So there's a match line there that runs north-south,
yeah.
just left of.
So see the
Right,
sheet here?
But there's not, because 37R, if there was a match line, it would be on 37R. See where the 37R is cut off, and then if you scroll down, 37R is right in the middle of the page. I see where there's,
But
that dotted
there's
line is what he's calling
The match,
line.
it says match line sheet, so
Okay.
you basically
Okay.
stick the two together and it flows across.
So it's just, okay,
So
that is-
she said it was okay, so,
that's.
okay. Yeah, it's just different.
It's hard to get it to fit on a sheet of paper.
I see it's.
Well, no, it's because he likes to use 11 by 17. You good?
Okay, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And
51? Right, yeah, oh,
There is
no,
52,
52.
right?
You guys didn't have to do 51, sorry. Wrong one, 52. All right, so this is the one I think you guys have kind of been watching for. So this is Lot 3, Block 1, which is the bigger parcel along Black Forest Road and North Rochford Road. So we had seen this. It kind of has gone back and forth, but I think with the conversations that have come about, the plat itself isn't the issue, it's how are they gonna develop it? Well, whenever they decide how they're gonna develop it, they're gonna have to come through with a development plan to be approved, is what I'm gonna require. They are looking at some commercial-ish buildings. This one is gonna be interesting, because originally they had come in with some storage units down Black Forest Road, if you remember, and you had told them, no, we're not down Black Forest Road, but this one is along North Rochford Road. The access and whatnot to it, we had lots of discussion with John Bay. He is not going to allow any additional access off of North Rochford Road. So they would have to utilize their own, layout system for the road, and it would have to come down Black Forest and come back out. And I believe, the access point that you see on here is, well, John's okay with that, where it goes down Black Forest, comes back out on Brownsville. But he just didn't want to have an additional driveway then put in off of North Rochford. So that's on there. And then I don't know for sure where you guys want to go with the discussion, but I wanted to make sure you have the information. We have been in the process with the developers to fix Brownsville Road. It's getting there. It's actually closer than it was. I haven't been out there now for about a week and a half, but it's getting there. Do you have any updates on that one, folks? I know that question came up.
Brownsville?
Or not Brownsville, Black Forest, sorry, Black Forest.
It sounds like, Monday.
you could give us your name and address.
Oh, sorry, John Pavon, 6905 Arcadia Street, Somerset. I'm with, Beach Development in Powerhouse.
Okay, thank you.
So it sounds like Monday's the paving date for Black Forest Road.
It's getting close, and they've been working on it, trying to get stuff done. And I do know that in the meantime, as part of this discussion, there's been some other stuff that's come up with drainage around the Lawrence County Search and Rescue Building, drainage going into Black Forest Ranchettes, and then drainage coming off of Brownsville Road. And they submitted a new drainage plan. It's fixing the issues, which needed to be done. I mean, it has to be done. And then they're kind of working on trying to get Black Forest Road done first so people can get back in there like they're supposed to, and then they'll continue with the drainage. So I didn't know we have a full drainage plan. It's not really part of this plat, but I wanted you to be aware of it, that they're working on it. And if you want to, we can look at that drainage. I kind of figured I'd bring it forward once we had kind of the final, like, this is what they're gonna do, instead of the planning part of it. So that's where this one's at. And then obviously you guys will have to decide when the development plan comes in if you're okay with what they want to do or not. It'll be coming here in the next couple of months, I would expect.
Okay. What's your pleasure on the final plat?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Tisdale, seconded by Sleep for approval of the final plat. Any further discussion?
Does that include the development plan?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So this is an amended preliminary plat. And this is those lots that run right along this lot 3 that you just approved. So you saw that roadway that went in there. These are gonna be those amended lots. They're small, just, it'll surround it. So it's an amended preliminary though. So what you did is you approved a final plat on lot 3, which was that entirety. Now a new preliminary plat's being submitted, where these lots right here along the back side are small lots, just like you've done throughout the rest of it. And then this front piece left over, which is now gonna be the new lot 3, is the one that ends up probably coming in for a development plan.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay, motion by Tisdale, seconded by Jennings for approval. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Carried. All right, preliminary and final plat are.
Richard, you were nay, correct?
I was.
Thank you.
Let's see, 54, right?
Yep.
So this one is a preliminary and a final plat. It's basically taking, so right now, the lot line runs this way. They want to change it this way. So it's not an increase of lots, they're just flipping the lot line. This is the one that, as part of this, I don't see here, Kevin Kuchenbecker owns these lots. He came in, got a building permit for this lot down here. And as part of this process, because we did make him do a preliminary plat, it was determined that the orange line is the county setback line. This little corner right here, and you can really see it right here, there's a concrete pad that in the original plans, it didn't have a covered patio on it. Well, so we issued the permit because the concrete we don't usually mind about because the setback goes to the corner of the house. Well, he covered it. So then that put him in non-compliance. So he is having to, he is going to be requesting variance. He's already aware of that. There's not really much we can do. We looked at, can he, move, buy a property, whatever. Well, it's the right of way. There's nothing else there. There's not another adjacent property line. He could, in theory, remove the covered patio, but obviously he would prefer not to. But he is going through the variance process. We did receive the application. That'll go on the next one, but he didn't know about it till we did this. So it kind of came about because of this. And the green line is the setbacks for his covenants. So he's also out of compliance with his covenants. That's a covenant issue. He's got to deal with his HOA on that one. But ours, it's the rest of the structure is right where he said it was going to be, right on the setback, except for this little tiny piece right here.
This one exempt?
Yes, it's an exempt because it's just a lot line. They're switching the lot line.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to make it exempt will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, what's your pleasure on the preliminary and the final?
Move to approve the preliminary and final.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jenny, seconded by Tisdale to approve the preliminary and the final. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And then he'll use this preliminary plat for the site plan variance. Because it's already on there, he knows where everything is. Okay.
While Amber's doing that, I checked with John Bay and we know that we have to replace fencing along 3 properties. Collins property, Wheeler Lumber, and there's one more.
Oh,
We just haven't had a chance to get it done.
Perfect. Okay, so this one is a preliminary plat for lots 1 and 2 of the Ophir subdivision. It's the formerly tract 01B of the subdivision of tract 01 and 02 of Ophir. The owner is doing a lot line revision. It'll divide the tract along the road instead of through the middle, is what he's ultimately trying to do. There is structures on this side. So the old lot line went this way. You can kind of see it dotted here. They're just trying to go straight down the middle of the road, so it's on each side of the road. Instead of lot 2 originally had stuff over on this side of the road. Kind of cleans it up.
Declare exempt,
Yes.
post declare exempt.
second. Okay, we have a motion second for exempt. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Move to approve the preliminary and the final.
Okay, a motion by Flanagan, seconded by Jennings for approval of the preliminary and the final. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Kendall?
Okay, this is Randy Tindall down along St. Ange. He has been, over the years, I've talked to him quite a bit. He is trying to just get stuff situated so the kids can be able to build houses out there. With this one, he's gonna have, tract C1 is gonna end up being 50.02 acres. And then tract C2 is gonna be 76.83 acres. The utility building already sits down there. There's a stock pond down there. So he's just kind of moving the lines around and platting them into actual parcels. And the daughter is planning on building them down there.
Move to approve the preliminary and the final.
Second. Okay, motion by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan for approval of the preliminary and final. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Get me started.
Mr. Chairman, on that one, if anybody has any questions about the utility sheets, the drawings, there's a common copy here for people to look at.
On the last one,
Yeah, this one, Hidden Pines.
the one we're on now.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, the Security Storage and Properties LLC. Read. And I believe we have someone on line. Reed and Neil, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Reed.
You muted Neil, didn't you?
I did. I'll unmute Neil. So with this, you guys have seen this before. This is Hidden Pine subdivision. This is the one off of Wildburger and the highway, so Boulder Canyon right there on the corner. The property is zoned suburban residential. They are trying to get, right now it's lots 1 through 12 for a preliminary plat. There's a couple of lots that could be put in there, so it could be upwards of 17 over time. They have provided water plans, sewer plans, fire mitigation plan, MDU letter, the H2O clear letter and agreement. There's also some stuff in here about the sanitary district's response. They had, John Bay has reviewed stuff. He put his report in there as well. There are some things that he's gonna, expect to see, but they'll have to go through that process with them. you. Try just kind of looking. And then there is a utility access and service agreement letter in here that was signed by both and H2O Clear Solutions. There's also emails in here where people from the subdivision and the district had provided letters to us. You know, they obviously have concerns. There's a number of people in the audience. And most of these guys spoke at the planning and zoning meeting. Most of them have concerns about access, dirt road, you know, just the Wildberger Road not being able to handle stuff, safety coming out onto the highway, you know, all of those things that go into that. At this point, I don't really have a reason necessarily to not recommend approval of it. The only thing we had is if we would approve this, the removal of the outbuildings located on lots 9 through 11 has to be completed by September 1st, because what it would do is the structures that are there would be non-compliant because they're being cut up by the new lot lines. So the existing lots they wouldn't be able to stay as is. It sounds like those have all been sold at different auction and that people just have to come pick them up and remove them is kind of what I had heard on that. So we're just giving them to September 1st. It sounds like that's not an issue. And then there's still a title issue with legal description. Now, it's not really our issue, but when we were working on the staff report and working on the legal description for the plat, Amy determined that there was an error in the original deed, and Reed is aware of it, and their attorneys are trying to get that fixed. We were just looking at it from a title research side. It's going to cause some issues as it keeps going down, but it's not really our problem. He may or may not own some property, but that's kind of between him. But we just didn't want to see it continue, so we put it as a condition of this. It sounds like the deeds office didn't have a problem with the legal because it had been recorded that way prior to, even though it was incorrect.
Does that deed question involve this property?
Yes, but it's correct in that aspect because we're following how it was deeded. We're following the chain that's there now. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm wondering what the question is.
Well, it's more of a question for Reed to figure out with his attorneys than it is for me because I'm following the chain that's already there.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So if the deed gets revised, what property would it eliminate, and to what extent does that affect what they're asking for
It
now?
won't eliminate anything.
I think that's the relevant question.
Yeah, because we can't plat the property that we don't know is.
Yeah, they own it. It's just the way that the deed is written.
All right. I know a number of you folks have come up here for this particular item. This is not a public hearing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow each individual 3 minutes to stand up and state your name and address for the record and let us know what's on your mind. So anyone at this time want to speak to this? Go ahead, sir.
My name is Tim Brown, address 20713 Wildberger Road. I'm one of the 2 individuals that have the private property that is on the north side of what is being proposed here. Love America, we love progress, all those things. And we're seeing a lot of it in our area, without a doubt. When it comes right down to it, it's just a question of Wildberger Road, your county road, and how much more traffic is going to be dumped on that road. With the current Apple Springs turnoffs and roads and what started out as a road access for our homes and back to Boulder Canyon now just has numerous vehicles on it. Question of safety. Interesting to note, John's work showed the width of Wildberger Road, 21 feet approximately, 21 and a half. The actual gravel road that's being proposed through the housing development is actually wider than Wildberger Road. All I have to say. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for serving, by the way.
Anyone else like to speak at this time?
Hi, Clint Hall, 20717 Wildberger. I'm the other neighbor to the north there. And I wrote a letter that you guys probably reviewed, kind of given the history of the area since I've been there since the 90s. Yeah, the safety of Wildberger Road is a significant issue. When Apple Springs went in, I wasn't part of the approval. When I understood there was Apple Springs was to use their main entrance off the highway, not Wildberger Road. But what's happened over time is they've used that consistently for the rentals that are not regular residents, and then also for even the golf course equipment uses that. The visibility through there and everything with those access points are an issue now. We have folks who still walk that road. We have kids who ride their bicycles on it. During rally, it's not uncommon to have vehicles running 40+ mile an hour through there. And with that dip that's through there, it's really odd how it works. We come out of our driveway and it's just a short distance to the top of that. I can come out of my driveway and it looks clear coming from the highway from the south. You pull up there, just out there, all of a sudden there's a vehicle right there because they were in that low spot. So there's safety concerns there. I know John did some research on it, so you got that too, but the safety thing is the one thing. Comes back to that parcel was a single family property for many years, partly because of the topography. Anybody who's lived in Lawrence County very long understands the areas. Boulder Canyon is one of those. There's a lot of solid rock in there. That parcel doesn't have current MDU because when MDU came through, it was cost restrictive to even put MDU up to the Nelson's house, which has been existing there. So there's a lot of challenges there coming up. And just as far as being a neighbor, Apple Springs has never been that neighborly to us. We never know what's happening over there. They mess up the road constantly with their equipment, dragging mud out on there. The gravel road in this subdivision is another problem. That should be paved like what Boulder Park was, Boulder Canyon was, that issue. So there's just multiple things that I hope the commission takes a look at before they really approve this completely. And if the folks are going to be allowed to develop this because of the zoning, follow through and make everything happen, so it works for everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Sherry Meidinger, 12130 Washington Loop Road in the Boulder Canyon subdivision, which sits to the north of both of these gentlemen's properties. Our big concern, of course, was once again on Wildberger Road. That is our biggest concern. Of course, for us 54 lot owners that live there, our only access to getting out to the highway is Wildberger Road. And we understand that they're looking at possibly doing some boring. Amber alluded to it at the P&Z meeting. How will that affect our access for all the people that need to get to the highway when they start construction there? So we are concerned, like what Tim talked about, the size of the road and what Clint talked about with the speed. I mean, there are so many vehicles. I almost got taken out coming up to the stop sign as I was getting to the highway by a gentleman in my own just in my own subdivision because of having to take that corner coming in because there's no shoulders, there's nothing there. And so we're concerned about just the whole safety of that. And the other concern we had was what type of homes are going to be built in this subdivision, because pretty much Boulder Park, Apple Springs, and Boulder Canyon, we're looking at $1 million plus homes. And so we don't really know what they are looking to bring in, if it's modulars, if it's built, if they're even going to meet a 1,500 square foot minimum, which is what all of them out there are. So those are our big concerns as to what will it do to the value of the surrounding property. So those are the main issues: road, safety, and value of homes.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Jerome Hoffman, excuse me, 12257 Stagecoach Trail, Apple Springs. So we're just to the east of this development. And as I understand it, as I see, and I'm on the road district at Apple Springs. So it looks like the north entrance to Hidden Pines is going to be an extension off of Stagecoach Trail. Am I correct on that?
I wouldn't say an extension, it's meeting up with it on Wild Burger Road.
The alignment
So
should.
the alignment comes across from each other.
That's what I
yes.
mean.
Yep.
So that's part of my concern is that, with the concern about the traffic on Wildberger, I can see, traffic coming in off of Apple Springs Boulevard, traveling down Stagecoach Trail to enter that subdivision. And of course, that gives concern for us with additional traffic and safety, because, same thing with people traveling, excuse me, down that road, excess speeds and just the additional traffic is a concern for us at Apple Springs and our road district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Can I say one more thing? Just correct one thing I said.
Okay.
In reference to Apple Springs and the traffic that's created on Wildberger, like I say, that has occurred over time. I'm not really sure if it was ever really approved by Lawrence County, but and then I noted Apple Springs haven't been good neighbors. Well, that's not to say Apple Springs, the subdivision, and the residents over there, but the developer. When they do things from the developing standpoint over there, and if he's going to be the one supplying utilities to this new subdivision, they've just not been friendly with the community. They don't let us know when they're doing anything. They make a mess out of the road when they do something. Their parking lot right there at the highway, they still never gravelled that, so they're dragging mud out of there constantly. I mean, we've had a wet summer. But, just another point that they aren't friendly to the community, and so it wasn't directed at Apple Springs or the residents, but the developers.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
I'll follow up with my thing. You have the packet in there from the Apple Springs Water District, which is counter to what the developer mentioned in his letter, the H2O company. So those should be some big concerns, of which we even brought that to the developer's attention again, you know, that they're getting kind of a promise from the developer with the H2O solutions, but then the water district, who is kind of the main overseer of that, they weren't even privy to those types of conversations taking place. So, you know, our concern is that the developer really doesn't get taken to the cleaners either on some particular promises that may or may not be.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's important to note that the letters received from the Dan Carlson, who's with there, those were prior to us getting this new easement. And I don't believe anybody from that district is at this meeting and was not at planning and zoning.
Right.
And I think those letters came in prior to them meeting, and then we got the utility easement agreement. So there could have been a change. I don't know, because nobody from that group has been at the last two meetings.
I think they were at, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mr. Carlson was at the one in June.
Okay,
correct.
See what's.
Yep.
We're gonna close down our public comment and
you.
offer this back to the board. What do you want to do here?
Neil is still online too, Amber, for any questions?
Yeah, and Reed is online as well. If you guys have specific questions for them. Reed or Neil, do you have anything to add?
I don't.
No, I was just waiting to hear to see if you guys had any questions or comments.
Okay. Reed is the developer, Neil is the engineer.
Okay. Any questions for those gentlemen from the board?
It is a
Yeah, this
preliminary.
is just a preliminary. So we still have a ways to go.
Yeah, and at this point, and this is kind of what I had said before, at this point, he's taking a chance. If there's, you know, if he doesn't have water or doesn't have sewer, he can't get a final plat. You know, so if something comes up and he can't provide those services, he's taking that chance with this preliminary plat.
Well, and so
And it's, go ahead, Reed.
one thing I wanted to add, Amber, is when we had talked about that at the planning and zoning preliminary plat meeting, one of the
Sir, could you state your name and address for the record for us, please, so we can get it in our minutes?
Reed Feetner, P.O. Box 1062, Miles City, Montana.
Okay, thank you.
In the planning and zoning preliminary plat meeting, one of the members had mentioned that they were concerned about, and it was more of a legal, question, I guess. In H2O's willingness to serve letter, he was concerned about the word willingness. That was on our initial, I guess, willingness to serve letter, which was dated May 7th, but that utility access and service agreement, is signed by both of us, granting us the access to his water and sewer, so that will lock us in for water and sewer.
Yeah. And he's referring to this document here.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the
What was the recommendation from planning and zoning?
To approve.
Didn't come up on that.
It's not on there, because we just, the minutes, it was a long meeting. They're not done yet.
We got out of 5.
I see by that look, it was a good one.
I make a motion to approve the preliminary.
Well, second for discussion.
Okay, a motion by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan. Further discussion. Mr. Flanagan.
Are you comfortable with any of the question on the deed? It looks like it probably isn't a thing, but I don't know enough about it to.
Looks to me like ostensibly that they do have an agreement to provide the water.
No.
The deed question.
The legal description. That's really the thing.
You know, honestly, I haven't studied it, so I can't give a definite answer. I cannot. It might be nothing.
The way the wording is, it's hard to really tell what exactly, like if it's anything or it's not anything at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Who surveyed it?
The legal description was not included in the original owner's purchase.
But
That's
title,
affecting
but South
the
Dakota Title's
owner's
working on it, so
ownership
they know
lot.
the
So
issue.
Sodak knows what's going on. Can you explain?
I can't explain it in
know.
detail. So there was an issue with the original legal description for the property.
Yep.
Eric, Howard with renters and myself are doing an affidavit to correct that legal description.
Yep.
And once those two documents are recorded, it'll be resolved.
So everything is intended,
Yeah, I don't think
it's just a.
Yeah.
There's no
I think
weird
it's a textual
trail.
issue it's not really.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Brad, is this more in line like a Scrivener's error then, really, or?
It wasn't, yeah, I don't know where it started, I guess. I haven't looked into it in detail. I got the document sent over to me a while ago to look at from Sodak Title.
It sounds like it could be fixed with that surveyor's affidavit, which
Two
will
of
get
them,
attached to the
because
old
one of
plat to fix it going
Now,
forward.
there's some interesting surveys that were done down
Yeah.
in Boulder Canyon. Some were done on paper and some were done in the bar someplace, I think. But you go to one place and there's six posts, all within about 3 feet of each other, pins that nobody could agree on.
So, but Brad, you're involved in the solution to the problem then? That's what I understand?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Okay, further questions or discussion?
Can we get a name of the individual?
Brad Limbo, 1955 Maitland Road, Spearfish.
Thank you.
He's a surveyor.
I thought he had already spoke, but,
No, it's
okay.
Motion to approve.
No further discussion?
That was my big concern, was to try to figure that. I mean, we had them realign because it didn't make any sense on the county road to not be aligned with Stagecoach. And it looks like, and I was looking through this stuff on the county, I apologize if I'm speaking out of turn here, but I was looking at the comment from the highway superintendent on that. And of course, the original part was down at the bottom, but this makes a lot more sense for many reasons. The legal thing was really a catch that I needed to find out, and I did.
Okay, well, we still get to look at all this again on the final, so All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, questions against? Motion passed.
So there is an issue, we may have an amended preliminary at some
Right.
point, if there would be an issue.
Correct, so the preliminary plat has been approved, and then they would go forward with build out, and we'd have to have all the as-built and, you know, all of that stuff as they go forward, so.
Yeah, more to go.
In all the final.
That would come in as part of the final.
All the final utility documents and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
all of the utility, everything would have to
All right,
be finalized.
Amber, I think we're down to extension of MOA LLC.
Let me double check on this.
Mr. Chairman, for the matter right after that, there's some folks on the hallway, can I transition folks in here?
Yeah, Reed and Yale were done, just so you know, it did get approved, we'll be in touch.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
for your guys' time.
Okay. Memorandum of agreement. Okay, so this one, my goodness, this has been ongoing forever. There's been a, kind of back and forth with Spearfish Mountain Ranch LLC. They've gotten a lot of work. What it was a moving target. So we get it fixed and then they complete more work and then move on. Try to get everything. And so this is the newest version. You had an old one. Instead of trying to amend that, we decided it was better just to do a brand new one to clean it up because the amounts had changed so much. So this one is correct. We have a new memorandum of agreement for you to sign. We have the new engineer's cost estimate. We have the Three Peaks MOA kind of history, the description, and then the irrevocable letter of credit from First Interstate Bank. I said that, yeah. It's a replacement of, we'll say.
Substitution.
You wanna allow some public comment?
I don't think they're here for this. It's not for this one.
No.
All right.
So-
All right.
This isn't backfilling what's been done.
Yep.
New bank involved too, I think, correct?
Yeah, this is First Interstate Bank, so local bank.
TJ Gusso, I think, has been working with them.
What's board's pleasure?
What are we looking at?
The memorandum of agreement right here. All you're doing is approving it.
So, what I'm looking at, I pulled up here.
Yeah. Three Peaks letter of credit memorandum of agreement.
We had made,
Okay.
Chairman, we had made a motion to
Nobody has
approve
yet.
it, but contingent upon a letter of credit being signed, but
Oh,
it was never,
okay.
ever.
But
Okay.
it never got done because the
Okay.
amount of money kept changing. So then I wasn't comfortable having a letter of credit that didn't match.
So you want us just to
So now it-
ratify?
Yes, re-ratify and approve it so that it matches.
Approve is already out. It's a motion.
So the motion is to accept the substitute MOU, is that what the
Yes.
motion is? So.
Yep.
I'll second. Did we get a second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sign this one.
All right.
Are we gonna do, no, we had two things. Should have David Maynard on there as well, as a layout plan. Give you this original. Yeah. Should have 3 items on there.
Oh,
Let's do. Okay. I was looking at the wrong one. Yep, so the Whitewood property, David Maynard is the next one. This one is a layout plan / just a question, and, this is a little parcel, so this is a good site plan to show it. You can see where this is the trailer sales, church sits right here. I-90, Highway 34 intersection, Whitewood's on the other side. There's a little tiny triangle right here. Not little tiny, it's almost 2 acres, but the Thompson family owns it.
It's a leftover piece out of a quarter that's been broken up over the years. There's just one little triangle left on the other side of the interstate. They are interested in, well, they did go into a purchase agreement with David Maynard, which is who the email came from. And they just had some concern on that is it's not meeting the ag zoning. Obviously, it's still zoned ag, but it doesn't meet that. It's less than 2 acres. They would like to bring it into compliance with doing a change of zoning on it, but then in order to do the change of zoning, they'd have to plat it because it's an unplatted remainder of something or other, quarter this, quarter that. So before they start that platting process, they wanted to see if there was any questions or concerns from you guys before they actually go and plat it and then go through the change of zoning process. They understand they have to meet both requirements. It's a non-compliant ag leftover piece right now. It makes sense to bring it into compliance by platting.
Didn't we deal with this years ago?
No, there's nothing in there.
Well, that's highway service commercial.
It's all what, yep, highway service commercial and or industrial on the other side of the interstate. And then highway service, all 3 of those upper parcels are all zoned highway service commercial already, and they're platted.
So the intent would be just make it commercial somehow.
I think the intent would be to do some, probably highway service commercial would make the most sense. I did touch base with Dan Carlson because I was concerned about access because it's, right there when you come off, how are they going to get to it? His suggestion to them, and they were working with the church property, is to somehow do a joint, hopefully do a joint access so they don't have to add an additional, but there is an access point there, and Dan said legally they do have access. Not Dan.
That's right.
Mike,
the state,
sorry,
the state
Mike,
would handle
not Dan Carlson, Mike Carlson, that's wrong, Mike. So Mike said there is an access there, but ideally they would like to see if they could work together to get a joint access point. So those are in the future. You're not making a motion to approve a change of zoning or a plat at this point. This is just a layout, but they just wanted to know if there was any other concerns or anything that you guys would have before they start that process.
This isn't even a layout. This is just information.
It's kind of an informational, just if there's any concerns that I need to go back with them before they hire a surveyor and start the process. But they can't really do the change of zoning without having a legal description anyways, so they're gonna have to survey it first. Yeah, and it's on our books as a 2 acre parcel, so we'll see when it's actually surveyed what it ends up being. I don't know.
Does the city water and sewer go out that far?
It might on that side. I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think the church is on a septic system, if I remember right, on that side.
So it's commercial, it might have some limitations.
A 2 acre, if it's 2 acres, it's gonna be close to probably that. Our tax rolls are usually pretty accurate. I mean, for the most part, they can probably fit a septic system on there, no problem.
Even for, is there different flow requirements?
It depends on what they utilize it for.
Most commercial takes less.
Yeah,
less
usually
than
it's
a
less
residence.
than a house.
What if it was food service?
Well.
Yeah.
There's the difference.
Okay. You want some type of a motion that we're okay with it, or?
I think it was just, the main thing is if you don't have any concern and they can go forward to doing a plat. That's where they're at right now.
I would feel more comfortable if they could get that access. It's state highway, so they can, and the state deals with it, but it would be an easier sell for me to come off that church track.
That's what the DOT is requesting. So they're working on it, and then we'll just have to see what the church decides. But okay, I'll just let them know that they can go ahead and, go through the process of starting to plat and working on some of those issues.
Don't promise this. But
Yep, don't know anything yet, so, okay.
Bruce, or who's handling the Amber? Or Bruce?
Combination of, I don't know, we'll see.
I can start.
Go ahead.
So, and Amber can fill in where I get it wrong. So I think for your consideration today is the development plan 2203 for Lima Mercantile. There's more to it than that, but that's probably the gist of it. And so, as I recall, must have been 2022, development plan was presented to you for the Mercantile. And I think in particular, 3 sites for campers were indicated on there to be used for workers. And so we've received a complaint from the neighbors to include other things, but also to include the use of those 3 campers. And I'll defer to Adam and whoever else at some point, but I think what we would know is that Adam and his family are working at the Mercantile and are staying in those campers. I don't know if I added this, that the campers were originally indicated to be for staff to be used, right? And so he would say that they're being used for staff. I think the neighbor would say that they're being used by family when it was intended to be used by staff. And so it's an interpretive question in that regard about whether that complies with your intent to allow those 3 RVs. We've got pictures of them if you want to see them, but there are 3 nice RVs that are sitting there adjacent to the Mercantile.
Okay, so there's family members staying there, but they work there.
That's my understanding,
So,
yes.
doesn't that fit staff?
Are they seasonal or are they permanent? Or like year round?
I don't know. I'd have to defer to Adam for that.
The campers are used seasonal, and it is everyone.
Name and address for the record, please.
Oh, Adam Rice, 12724 Nemo Road is the.
Okay, thank you.
And it is my family members. I have a family member that came up from Arizona to help me run both restaurants, and then my parents, who are both on the payroll and work regularly, and then myself. And I stay there sometimes, and I also stay up at our house off of Benchmark Road.
Actually, Adam also is running the restaurant at the guest ranch as well.
Brandon Iron, yep.
Okay.
So I think that's the one question. I'll just add to that, there's other information in the complaints about an easement. My discussions with the neighbors have been that the county typically has not gotten involved in adjudicating easements. There's questions regarding, I think, signs on the easement, parking on what was gravel, is the grass, is it now gravel, and in a number of things that folks have kind of gone back and forth on. There's a gate up there now that wasn't there, and the gate's getting locked and things. But I think that's probably beyond the scope of your discussion here today. But I just wanted to note that those are in the.
And I did provide copies of both complaints, back and forth. I don't see any non-compliance based on their original approved development plan. The easement things, we're not gonna get involved in. That's not really our place. Unless you guys have a specific thing that you tell us to do, and you can read through these if there's something else that you see that I don't. We were gonna respond to it, and we will, just like normal, like we would normally treat a complaint.
And so, from time to time in the past, we've had disputes over easements in the past. They're not uncommon. And as I advised the complaining folks, we just have never gotten involved in those. It's based upon a private agreement between 2 parties. And I think it's difficult, it's impossible for the county to adjudicate the relative rights and responsibilities for a private agreement. That's something that a judge would have to do. And so I can't recommend that we can, make decisions in that regard, that you can. But the development plan falls under your jurisdiction.
Well, it sounds like they're following that.
We made a trip out there and had a look at it and saw the fence and everything, and just to kind of do our due diligence, and I don't really have anything else interesting to report. I didn't see any blowing garbage when I was out there, or any other.
So what type of action do we need to take?
I think that probably just a motion that confirms that the 3 campers out there, as described, being used by Adam and his family, are consistent with the approved development plan. For workers' accommodations.
For seasonal accommodation.
Yep.
Employee seasonal accommodation.
There you go.
And as for the rest, if there's anything else that you want me to address, I can, but that would be one part. The other complaint is an illegal use. We are going to be having a discussion about our definition of campers, but right now I can't really answer that one. It's a gray area.
Well, we need to just
So
deal with
that'll be a different discussion. Yep,
That's another piece of property, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want us to ratify your decision or your investigation that says that the campers under the development plan are currently being used by employees for
Yes.
seasonal employees?
Yep.
Okay. I guess I will make a motion to ratify the determination of the zoning administrator.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the only other ask I have is that you agree that we're going to be out of the easement issue between the two. Because I'm not getting.
I'm looking at the stipulation and order, and it basically says if the easement is obstructed, they can call the sheriff's department.
With the sheriff's.
And
Yeah,
have
do
the
you wanna-
chairman, or if I may, and the sheriff's office calls me, but again, I think, I appreciate Judge Macy's, statement to that effect, but that's putting us in the position of having to adjudicate rights and responsibilities. So for example, and I'm thinking, I'll say this hypothetically, what I think maybe is going on is there's an easement. Well, I know that, and along one side of the easement, there's some grass and there's a fence. And so I think the easement would say that you can park in the grass, but you can't park on the gravel. And so it may be that somebody has gone and sprayed weed killer on the grass to create more gravel area. And then maybe calling law enforcement to say, hey, the easement says that you can park on the grass, but not the gravel. That used to be grass, now it's gravel. So please tell these cars that they need to move. So I'm not saying that those are the facts, but maybe they are, at least hypothetically. And so faced with that dilemma, I can't advise the sheriff's office to tell anybody to move a car or do anything if I'm right about that. And
Yeah, county can only compel removal from public easements or rights of way.
Yeah,
They would have to determine, someone would have to determine what the actual easement is, and then, because I mean, it's basically trespass.
Macy said they could call the sheriff, but didn't say sheriff.
That's what I saw.
Okay. We're down to, the board discussion and action on a provisional budget.
Okay, that's it then. Thank you. Shouldn't.
Behave, Sarah, you're the last one in the room.
Such fast class.
Thank you.
I have a bunch of plots to sign. Do you want to just wait? You want to let me know when you guys are done, or are you gonna? Is it gonna be a while for the budget stuff?
I'm sorry?
Okay, sure.
Okay, I can wait. Okay.
Take a break. Mr. Grant Leader come in.
all right, we're back online then.
So I'm just presenting the provisional budget for approval today. Just brought it back just to give me more time because they hadn't approved that dissolving of that tip in Spearfish. And that was final, just to give me a chance to double check my figures and everything panned out to what it was before, but I appreciate the time just to double check myself. And so the only changes that were made were the $4,129 to the jail budget, and that was for Brian is going to be proposing a different pay scale for the nurse. It was adding $1. You remember that? And then also the physician's assistant. She had gotten a step raise and added that into that to reflect in the budget. And then the $48,000 for Dave's pickup. So other than that, everything is exactly the same as what was presented at the last meeting. So just need a motion to approve the provisional, and I'll get it published in the paper and set the public hearing for
Second.
where's the notes? September 2nd at 9:30, and then also, in the motion, I would like to include, to set the provisional budget as presented with the 3% cost of living raise and the 10% proposed health insurance increase, and then set the public hearing for September 2nd at 9:30.
Okay.
To adopt the 2026 annual budget that time.
think next Thursday we have a
No,
meeting.
10% raises the total cost, 10%.
That's the health insurance. And we have not got that yet. That meeting is going to be held next week.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday on the is it the 21st? Yes. Yeah, so.
At 9.
So at this point, I don't know. It kind of sounds like the trend is kind of right in line with that. Kind of talking in between 5 and 8. So at this point, I can't adjust because I don't know what the figure will be until.
Sounds like we have a safe cushion though.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It should adjust down a little, hopefully it'll adjust down a bunch.
Yeah. And I can make, if you choose, I can make that adjustment, when we set the annual budget. Whatever I publish in the paper now, I just need to list it in the minutes. If we do adjust it down to, if it goes to 8, we could just leave it at 10. And then, or we could adjust it however you want me to proceed. I will make that happen. So that's all I have, unless anybody else has any questions.
Give a deadline to get that published.
I will be sending it here the minute you say approve. I
Yeah.
got it.
Please remove or
I-
say.
Sounds like time is of the essence.
Actually, ready.
I got it.
Follow the auditor's recommendation. I'll second.
Okay, motion in a second. Any further discussion?
I think we could wait till next time and get final figures.
She has to publish it,
I
Richard.
have- I'm required by law
Yeah.
to publish the provisional budget. We can change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can change it. This is just the provisional. We have the option to change it. Like I said, if I do make any changes, I just need to publish in the paper what my changes were. So yes, it is something that I can do. Yeah.
But this
All right.
happens every year.
Every year,
Because you're
yeah.
required to publish.
Yeah, required, yeah.
All right, call the question.
Just one comment on that. I did look up
Call the question.
the current inflation rate for South Dakota, and it appears that it's right around 3%, so I think 3% rate for the employees is appropriate.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
will, you did call the question, so all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
All right. Now we're down to some items from the public.
Don't see anybody online.
I am, but I'm here.
Probably staff.
You're here. I still see myself.
Sarah, would you like to speak to us?
I don't know.
Okay.
She barely likes listening.
We'll close the items to the public.
Really
It doesn't
thoughtful
look like
since you
anybody
come.
has any interest. What, items from the commissioners? I have nothing.
Nope.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I would note
motion
that
to adjourn.
your next meeting is going to be up at the new Public Safety and Services Center. In the room up there to the
How
right
do
of the light
how
pole.
do people access it? That big main front door?
There's an entrance there, and Amber has ordered a sign that will be outside that says
Okay.
enter here, but it's to the right of the flagpoles. It'll be obvious.
We'll have somebody around. Quick Signs is making the sign, and it'll be on like one of those sandwich boards, and it'll have them, so they're not going into the front door disturbing stuff. They can go
All
in
right,
that
so
way.
Is this a thing, because we're in a bigger room for the event?
Yes.
Did you make a motion to
Yes.
adjourn?
10:24.
Yeah.
Thought you did. All right, we're adjourned.
All right.
No, that's not the right one. I'm returning that.
All right,
Are you
Amber,
meeting
let's sign
held
document.
there after, or is it just
We
because
don't-
of this quarry?
Don't know for sure. That's up to the commission to decide what they're gonna do.
Well, it works.
Wanted to know if we're gonna continue to hold meetings up there.
Oh,
or
one
not.
and done
I
or
told-
the new
yeah.
trend.
I told Brandy.
If we fall in love with them, we might just make a new nest.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, finally just got our pictures done. They look really cute.
Nobody else?
Yeah,
No,
I'll show you some.
no
We got-
Thank
but
you.
these were really, they were like
Thank
really
you.
All right,
cute.
yeah, let's sign away.
Oh, God,